Hi, and welcome to Coffee with David and Fátima. Today, we're going to discuss one of humanity's most important topics. Is feminism a story with an end, or just a chapter in humanity's immense book?
So, let's begin. Feminism, just by hearing the word, you can feel the mood of dislike or empowerment. Nowadays, it has broken the taboo of the subject, and you must hear it in your daily life.
The feminism is really controversial, complex, and well, to my like, it's a super extensive subject to argument.
We got the opportunity to take many sides and perspective of the story, which is basically the purpose of even fundamenting our main question.
Before getting into the subject, we must get inside of it because if not, the lack of context may create a critical bias and our posture may not be reliable. So, how does it started?
That was my part. Thank you.
Go on.
Okay, so with the historical background, by definition, feminism is a belief of equity of women in different bases that confirm society, like economic, politics, and social. And its stars come all over from the first human era.
In order to be sure over the history, three divisions have been made, also known as waves. Each one of the waves describes the different purposes of the movement depending to the era.
Okay, so let's talk about the first wave. In the opening act, the feminists fought for the property right and the property of both, giving it a strong start for the rise of voices. In 1848, the sentiments of iconic feminist figures like Elizabeth Cady and Lucretia Mott were shared in the Seneca Falls Convention, in which they raised their voices to proclaim the equity between men and women and demanded the right of decision in society, also known as vote.
As the movement struggled, one of the main male characters in this situation was Frederick Douglass, which proclaimed that if black men did not have the right to vote, why would women should?
Harsh.
With this, the suffragette women's party was formed. The suffragettes slowly took some space in one chair of the table, taking some wins, and like in effect domino, the veto vote of women became step by step a mostly common reality for first world countries.
Well, once the vote was earned, women opened room into the work stage, even though many people consider it as a win. The disadvantage is that in that case the salary was lower than men. And as a chain, this was the principal cause for the vote. Now, in 2020, let's discuss. What is the fourth wave?
What is happening now in the actuality?
You may see all over the news stories of women raising their voices to proclaim their rights. But the question is still,
Are there still women without education,
sexual rights,
security,
equal opportunities?
or are there feminists just taking advantage to transform equity to an upgrade in the society? Emilio Bartisel, a philosopher, author, and feminist, has multiple times expressed the theory of feminism as a social innovation. In a better explained way, it's a matter that motivates each woman creating an empowering attitude. This way, women will achieve success with this defense mode called feminism.
Well, but the truth of this theory, even though it proclaims itself as a social innovation, it is only focused in the professional, economic, and equalitarian part of feminism. Within, the security is not even considered. The well-being is not a priority, and how is there going to be a feminist movement without feminists?
In 2020, we may see that the biggest concern are feminicides, which are on alarm all over the world, mostly in our country, Mexico. Within a year, Mexico index grew from 7 women deaths per day to 9, and earned the first place in the ranking of most dangerous countries.
That was directly causing many manifestations in the international society. Within the past year, the feminists have stated that they are sick of the abuse of power, finding their own needs, and with it, this is an opening for the fourth wave.
Getting into the fourth wave, the new version of feminism are trying to find their own definition of feminism. Different perspectives are being touched.
Meanwhile, the new generation is arriving. There are so many philosophers predicating the different ideologies. One good example is like Celia Morse, that over the year has opened its way into educational field, the head of their own department of philosophy in UNESCO. In all the way of their professional life, she has written her own theory of feminism, in which she describes it as a moral and political thought of search of equity in both genders. But relying on even Britannia's definition, there is a massive difference between equality and equity. When we ask with So, like, making a summary of everything, getting to this conclusion, after analyzing deeply into the subject, and with the background of history and philosophers, now we must be able to create a critical thinking, answering the question that motivates us to talk about the subject. Was if feminism is a story with a name or just a chapter? With this, we wanted to set our own mind to it.
As we saw, this social movement has evolved over the years, has asked different things, and has not obtained them all. But we may say that it is impossible not only for women but globally create access to equal rights. As a society, the ideologies are changing as we saw in the historical background, so even though as we may say that women are asking each time for more, it's not that each generation has its own needs and they raise their voices for them.
So finally, we may say that even though feminism is not just one person, it involves so many families, professionals, mothers, fathers, girlfriends, boyfriends. It makes a whole. So by following Heraclitus' theory of being just one thing, I can say that feminism is change. We must change in order to evolve. No, see, we must change in order to raise our voices, to fight injustice. So while we're surfing the fourth wave, let's be ready to change.
Well, that has been all for today. Thank you, and let's see you in the next chapter of Coffee with David and Fátima.